will be held today for fallen NYPD officer Jonathan Diller after the young father and husband was gunned down by a career criminal on Monday. Former President Trump attended the wake yesterday and is calling for action.
Things like this shouldn't take place, and to take place so often. These are just incredible people that are just devastated. They're devastated. They've got a tough road. It's going to be a very tough road.
Chanley Painter is here with the details. Chanley, good morning.
Good morning, Carly and Joey. 4 U.S. presidents were in New York yesterday, but only one attended the wake of murdered New York police officer Jonathan Diller, who was killed in the line of duty during a traffic stop. Police say the suspected killer had 21 prior arrests and had just been released on parole.
I just visited with a very beautiful wife that now doesn't have her husband. Stephanie was just incredible. Their child, brand new, beautiful baby, sitting there innocent as can be, doesn't know how his life has been changed. But the Diller family you'll never be the same. You can never be the same. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it. We have to get back to law and order. We have to do a lot of things differently because this is not working.
Many thanked the former president for making the trip to be in the city on this very important day for the family and the community.
President Trump was a source of comfort to the family. He spent over 10 minutes with Stephanie, the widow, in private. And then he went out into the main hall where the casket was laid and where police officer Diller's body was laid. And he and Stephanie prayed together. And then police officer Diller's grandmother asked the president for a hug. And he embraced her and held her very tightly. They did something I've never seen before, Janine, at a wake. They gave him a rousing ovation.
Today will be the second day to pay tribute to Officer Diller at a wake. A memorial march will also be held in his honor, and his funeral is set for tomorrow. Meanwhile, yesterday, about 30 miles away, President Biden was fundraising with former Presidents Obama and Clinton. The trio schmoozed with celebrities and high-dollar donors as guests enjoyed performances by Queen Latifah and Lizzo. And while hundreds of Palestinian protesters chanted outside the Radio City Music Hall, inside, the Late Show host Stephen Colbert moderated a conversation between the presidents that, of course, largely focused on criticizing Trump, where Obama said, in part, it's not just about the negative case against the presumptive nominee on the other side. It's the positive case for somebody who's done an outstanding job as president. And the fundraiser raked in a record-setting $26 million for Biden's re-election campaign.
I present to you your queen, Queen Buttercup.
Rubbish, filth, slime, muck, boo, boo.
What is Nancy Pelosi doing at this event? Nancy, you weren't invited. Get back in your seat, Nancy. Today is Friday, March 29th, 2024, and it is Free for All Friday, baby. Let's go. We got a wild show for you today. Democrat protesters scream that Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama are war criminals, and they are, at their fancy little fundraiser with Lizzo. Meanwhile, in the same state, Donald Trump is comforting the grieving family of a slain NYPD officer. Shockingly, the other 3 presidents weren't invited. What does that tell you? Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Mace joins the show. We're really happy to have her on the program. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. We got our blackout coffee. We're ready to rock. I got my icy coffee here. It's not exactly hot in Tampa just yet, but we are ready to rock. Our blackout coffee gets us going. It's going to be a wild campaign season. It's going to be a crazy couple months. Up next, you have, obviously, the conventions and the debates, and we're going to be live for all. We're going to be physically at all these events. It's going to be use no stimulants, okay? I use no stimulants. I don't use Zyn. I don't use any of the stuff on Hunter Biden's laptop. I do drink caffeine, though. That is my thing. I do drink caffeine. I don't even drink alcohol anymore, but I do drink caffeine. Nothing against it. But I do drink caffeine, ladies and gentlemen. It gets the people going. And I want to make sure that I'm supporting American companies and companies that hate communists as much as I do when I drink my caffeine. And that is why I drink Blackout Coffee. Please go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use the coupon code Benny for 20% off your first order. Blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Be awake, not woke. Okay, baby. We had a very interesting day yesterday. So all 4 living presidents, there are 5 living presidents, but 4 of them, there are only 5 living presidents, and 4 of them were in New York yesterday. And so what did that look like? Well, it kind of is emblematic of the state of the nation right now. Very interesting landscape that was presented yesterday. Because one president was visiting with the family of Jonathan Diller, who is a slain police officer, NYPD cop. Remember when we used to like these guys? Remember when the NYPD could do no wrong? Yeah. They've been utterly betrayed by the Democrats in New York. The policy, the judges, the prosecutors, the politicians have made life a living hell for these guys. And one of them got killed, which is, going to happen when you release career criminals on the street. Guy was arrested 27 different times, never caught a case, and then shot a cop. Cop was a father, a husband. He's survived by his wife and his beautiful little son, his little boy who will never know the father. And it's heart-wrenching, right? It's rip your guts out. Donald Trump, a man who is beloved by law enforcement, was the only politician in the country invited to go to this wake. The only politician invited to go. Now, on the other side of Long Island, and they off the island in Manhattan, not too far away from this wake, which, as far as we know, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton didn't even try to attend. Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton, Joe Biden walking down the little boy stairs on Air Force One. I'm not sure if we have that picture, but it's a good one. Joe Biden like grabbing the railing of the teeny little boy stairs on Air Force One as the real president, Barack Obama, shuffles behind him. They all went to a fancy fundraiser and raised tens of millions of dollars. Okay? $20 million. Now, Donald Trump just raised like $5 billion earlier in the week. Nobody talked about that. Donald Trump is now more rich than George Soros. Did you know this? Woo! Lib's big mad on that. No. These guys went and attended an event with a sex predator. That would be Lizzo. And another sex predator. And that would be Bill Clinton. And so this is what they were doing. Dude, if you want to see like the comparative visions, because all politics is really like red pill or blue pill, right? It's the comparative vision. That's what all politicking is. My policies, my vision for where I want to take the country. Here's what it is. Like, let me take you there. Vote for me. Let me take you there. That's what all politics is. If you want to really see the difference, look at just yesterday in a vacuum. Okay, look at yesterday in a vacuum. The cover of the New York Post is so good today. Give and take. So awesome. If we don't have it in the show, pop it up. Ladies and gentlemen, the vision for the country. This is like the situation we find ourselves in. It's why Were You Better Off 4 years ago is such a great campaign slogan. This was used in Reagan in 1980. Maybe you were around in the 1980 election. If you were, shout yourself out in the comments. Tell everyone who you voted for in 1980. Ronald Reagan was able to use this slogan that said, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Jimmy Carter had staggering inflation, crippling inflation. Jimmy Carter had the nation in shambles, crime and drugs and rot everywhere. The nation was clearly unsafe place to live. The national pride was at record lows, and there were wars started all over the place. People were kidnapping Americans, abusing Americans abroad, frictions with nuclear-powered Russia. Okay? This was a bad state of the country. And it really reminds you of exactly what's happening right now. I mean, really, time is a flat circle. Same thing. Ronald Reagan won 49 states in that election. Will we get the same in the 2024 election? That's what we're going to work on. That's the work that this show is going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, what a cover. Give and take. Trump attends wake for killed cop as 3 Democrat presidents shut down city for glitzy fundraiser. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they might have shut down the city, but Joe Biden was the one actually getting shut down. Because if there were a couple people inside of this glitzy hall packed with sex predators, and we say that because Bill Clinton is a sex predator and Lizzo is a sex predator, there were way more people outside protesting them. It was a sold out event. Okay, so the Democrat Party celebrating sex predator was a sold out event. And, well, there were probably 10 times the number of people outside. The protesters outside were wall to wall. Not a single MAGA hat in sight, by the way. These were Democrat protesters protesting their Democrat presidents, calling them war criminals. And you're going to tell me that Joe Biden's the most popular president in American history. These liars. Joe Biden's approval rating is in the 30s. Okay? No president running for re-election has ever had a lower approval rating. And you can sort of see why here. Check it out.
It is all hands on deck for the Democratic Party. Those aren't our words, they're Obama's. Tonight, a presidential gathering in Manhattan with one goal: save the Biden campaign. Bubba, Barack, and Biden at Radio City Music Hall for a fundraiser emceed by Stephen Colbert. Musical guests include Queen Latifah and Lizzo. And a very special guest, renowned artist Hunter Biden, is in the house. But the venue's surrounded by protesters. Not a single MAGA hat in sight. These are angry Democrats, furious with the Biden administration, angry at his foreign policy. Just another example of Biden's base collapsing. But inside, where it's warm, dry, and safe, this isn't your typical fundraiser. It's a heist. Tickets go as high as $500,000. If you want a picture with Barack, Bubba, and Biden, that'll be $100,000. The Biden campaign already announcing it's the biggest political fundraiser in American history. $25 million in one night. Although Trump made $3.5 billion yesterday, so good effort.
I'm liking Jesse Waters' show more and more. I got to tell you, it's really like the way that the writing's done on the program. It's well done. So what was the writing on the wall as the 3 living Democrat presidents gathered together as the protesters screamed outside? What exactly were they screaming? Well, they're screaming that they're going to put Joe Biden in jail. Remember when we had to chant, lock her up at Hillary Clinton? Now the Dems are doing it to their own candidates. Great, guys. Okay, fantastic. Unite and win. All right, here we go. So far more people outside protesting. Again, not a MAGA hat in sight. This is downtown New York. This is potentially the largest density of Democrat voters in the country. And you get thousands of people protesting 3 Democrat presidents that are on stage. Listening to a sex predator, by the way. In case you're wondering what was happening inside, Lizzo took the stage because, well, it was going to be Puff Daddy, but it's got to be Diddy, but he's been otherwise detained, ladies and gentlemen. So they had to go to another sex predator. Lizzo, as you may recall, is having no backup dancers in this little performance, if you can call it that. That poor stage, by the way. Never felt bad for stage before. No backup dancers. Why would that be? Because every one of her backup dancers is suing her big fanny. Former Lizzo dancers were weight shamed and pressured into sexual performances at strip clubs. Oh no. Yeah, so Lizzo's been fat shaming people. Naughty, naughty. 3 of Lizzo's former dancers have accused the singer of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment, a lawsuit filed on Thursday. They also alleged that she pressured one of them to touch a nude performer at an Amsterdam club and subjected them to excruciating auditions. Lizzo, a performer known for embracing body positivity, of calling the attention of one of the dancers' weight gain, later shaming her for it. Ladies and gentlemen, this suit is allowed to go forward in L.A. Lizzo tried to get it tossed. Of course, Lizzo is one of those woke entertainers who proselytizes for body positivity, but she's not very positive. No. The iron law of wokeness, right? Like, virtue signal, but have no virtue. Accuse other people of that which you are guilty of. Really is remarkable. But she's welcomed onto the stage last night. Welcomed on the stage. Bill Clinton clapping along. You do you, girl. Backstage. Under the stage, who knows? Maybe this is why people in the audience started standing up and screaming. Leftist media won't show you this, but people in the audience got up and started screaming at the 3 presidents on stage. 2 things to take from this clip. 1, there's a bunch of empty seats. Notice this. So it's a sold-out event. The 3 presidents are on stage, and there's a bunch of empty seats. So what does that tell you? And then number 2, they're getting called war criminals inside their own event. This is how despised and reviled they are by their own base.
There was an insurrection.
Shame on you, Joe Biden! Shame on you! Shame on you! You are funding genocide in Palestine and no amount of full concern that you will change the billions that you are doing! There's blood on your hands! Blood on your hands!
So that's not great. It's been happening all over the place, though. They can't have they like even inside of their most precious environments that have been so like hermetically sealed from the outside, and whether it's like black churches in Charleston or whether it's literally the vice president's house, these people get protested, right? Like Martha's Vineyard, for instance, private island. And Joe Biden's trying to like celebrate Christmas with Hunter and his degenerate family. Lock the shower doors, you know what I mean? And this is how the Biden's Christmas went. So we're going to charge you with genocide. We're going to put you in jail, right? It used to be us who had to chant the put you in jail clips. Biden was screamed out of a church about a couple weeks ago, probably about 4 weeks ago. This was in South Carolina. Check this out.
Light, there's no path from this darkness.
If you really care about the lives lost here, you should honor the lives lost and call for a ceasefire in Palestine. Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Imagine being invited to a party in your honor and everyone screams how much they hate you and want to put you in jail. Not great. Not great look. Not exciting time for you. No one likes Joe Biden. We all hate Joe Biden. What do these protesters want? Well, Jesse Waters was on the scene and got a chance to ask him. And kind of predictable here. Let's just say this. They don't like Joe Biden. They were screaming, I hope you enjoy Trump because we're not voting for Biden. That's what the protesters were saying. Protesters are saying they'll vote Trump. Watch.
Genocide Joe has got to go! Genocide Joe has got to go!
What are you here protesting about?
I hate old white men.
I'm protesting American empire.
The American government is funding a genocide with our tax money.
I'm protesting the American government. Simple as that.
Why are you mad at Joe Biden?
Joe Biden is an old white man.
He's a clown.
He's supporting Israel against Palestine. That's what we're angry about.
He's racist. He's ruining the country.
He's not listening to the American people.
No genocide, Joe. The whole damn system's got to go.
Everyone's also mad with Obama and Clinton, are you?
Yeah, because Obama did drone strikes in the Middle East during his presidency.
What's your message to Joe Biden?
My message to Joe Biden is cease fire now.
You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't believe you have an ounce of guilt in your body.
If Joe Biden keeps it up, are you going to vote for him?
No.
No?
I'm definitely not voting for him. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
What about Joe Biden? Does he have your vote?
No, he doesn't have my vote.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it sounds like Joe's going to have a rough go in 2024. And hey, listen, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So please go vote for Cornel West, RFK. Doubt you're going to vote for Trump. Although there is a clip and a tweet showing these protesters screaming, "I hope you like Trump because we ain't voting for Joe." Why would how can you possibly imagine being a Biden supporter? Like what? Why? How? Why? Show me the thing that's gotten better. Red pill, blue pill. That's all politics. All politics is just this. Okay? Competitive advantage. Red pill, blue pill. What do you offer the country? Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Under Donald Trump. Are you better off? I think the country's seeing it no matter what bumpers they try and put on Joe. Because the whole thing from last night was trying to make Joe look cool or hip. They even did like a pop star rising out of the stage entrance for Joe Biden. This is so excruciating to watch. One of our producers, Danny, said that this looks like, let's pop it up here. No, get them. It's right there, Royce. Them coming up out of the stage. Okay. Look at this. You know, we haven't done the Hall of Presidents at Disney. There's a Hall of Presidents where like Joe Biden is this like wax figure, right? And he's like, "I'm Joe Biden." And he's the Hall of Presidents Biden at Disney. You ever been on that ride or experience at Disney? I don't go to Disney anymore, but before they went extremely woke, I know this ride. I've seen clips of it. That's actually more lifelike than this. And the presidents kind of like rise up out of the stage. Okay. So our producer Danny says that what this is essentially like a motorized wheelchair stage lift to stop Joe Biden from having to walk on or off the stage because he falls off or he walks into a wall. So that's effectively what this is. That's it. Check this out. All right. So what's more lifelike? Yes. What's more lifelike? This or this, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. Who came up with this shit? Who came up with this? No, it's like again, you have two predators on stage and one satanic globalist who's actually in charge of the country. And we know that, right? Because they straight up admit it. Like they admitted it on stage. So there's a question about whether the color of Air Force One is going to get changed, because Air Force One is like this periwinkle baby blue and it's so beta, and the colors of Air Force One should be changed. Donald Trump wanted to change the colors of Air Force One to like this sort of masculine, dark blue and dark red. Maybe we can get the renderings of this. If you go to Mar-a-Lago, and you have like the model of what Donald Trump was going to repaint Air Force One. Anyway, the three of them were asked on stage if that's going to happen. And like every question on stage was Barack Obama like inserting himself and answering because he's the real president. Joe Biden not knowing what the F's going on. And Barack Obama having to insert himself, being like, no, Joe, this is what's actually going to happen. Here, watch.
This off this morning. Hi, Peter.
Dana, this is the first time we can remember people paying with donations to get kicked out of a Biden event. And we just got some more quotes from the stage, a lot more jokes. At one point, President Biden said, "One thing I can tell you about Air Force One, we're not changing the color. Trump wants to change the color." To which Barack Obama said, "Yeah, we're not doing that." And then later, Stephen Colbert said, "What would you say to the people who think that you're too seasoned for the job?" And President Biden said, "I don't know about seasons, but I hope there's not too old or old ideas." Well, when it comes to those ideas, there's a new Fox News poll that finds Trump is leading Biden on the two that may decide the election. Voters are giving Trump an 18-point advantage on immigration and a 15-point edge on the economy. Biden's biggest advantages are plus 18 on climate change, plus 12 on abortion. But Democrats are hoping for a boost by reminding liberals and left-leaning independents about the good old days by getting the band back together, something that Trump is not exactly doing, like this.
One thing you don't see is Donald Trump raising money with his vice president, who during the insurrection had people that he called to the Capitol calling for the death of his vice president, and he never came to the aid.
Okay. All right. Great point, pal. So here's what Air Force One should look like. I'm sorry. I'm like, of all the Trump policies, and I like so many Trump policies, this might be my favorite. Air Force One is beta. It's totally beta. It's as beta as Justin Trudeau in this photo. Guys, we're going to have to get a side-by-side here. Okay. So let's get the Air Force One, what it looks like now. But look at Justin Trudeau. Look at Trudeau in this photo. Oh, there you go. Okay. So there's first off, how can a man cross his legs like that? It doesn't seem anatomically possible. But he's always sitting like that. And Justin Trudeau is like the version of the Air Force One paint job we have now, which is this periwinkle blue, ladies and gentlemen. So that's like this is like the silly color of Air Force One. It's funny. They probably like it because it's like Democrat D blue. The Democrats have like a little logo and it looks like the same color. It's like the same color as that blue. But Trump's like, no, man, that is not alpha. That color, that is alpha. That's what you want to see with Air Force One. Like sort of the dark, like hues, the really rich, like bold, like deep colors. Not the little flimsy, like Teletubby looking Air Force One. I mean, look at this. This is not that this doesn't say power. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, this is my favorite. This is possibly my favorite Trump policy. Possibly. My favorite Trump policy. Going from that, ladies and gentlemen, to this, to like the Donald Trump rendering of Air Force One. If you ever been to Donald Trump's property, you realize he really cares about these kind of things. Really cares about like the color and the look and the vibe of these things. Ooh, yeah. Come on. Return. Bring it back. Bring it back. We submitted a design. Our show submitted a design to Donald Trump for this. We know Donald Trump and his team really, really well. And we submitted a design, and they didn't take us up on it. They said, no, it doesn't work for us, which is sad to me because I love this. And this could have been. Now, we're not ones to like argue with Trump and his team and like say you're wrong. But I agree. This is what the Benny Brigade sent in. This is the Benny Brigade version of Air Force One that we wanted. What's missing in this render is the flames that shoot out the back. So when it takes off, there's going to be this long, it's going to be a 40-foot trail of flames that crop dusts any country that we're in, and black smoke. And so then right? So then And when it's taking off, fireworks, American fireworks shoot out, right? Almost like you're getting bombed, but everything's fine. But just let people know, just keep them on their toes, right? So you visit a foreign country, you never know what Air Force One's going to shoot out the back. You never know. Kind of like Lizzo. So So that was our design. Donald Trump said different. But the point of all of this was not necessarily to talk about Donald Trump's interior or exterior design. The point of this exercise was to prove that it was Barack Obama inserting himself. Do we have the actual, get that tweet from Danny, the actual screenshot. Barack Obama inserting himself, talking over Joe Biden, saying, nope, we're not going to change the color. What do you mean we? What are you talking about? You're term limited out. You're in retirement. You live on private islands in Hawaii or Martha's Vineyard. You live on like these little private islands, elitist private islands, beachfront properties. So what do you mean we? What's this we you're talking about? Kind of gives away the game there, right? Joe is not calling the shots. That's exactly right. So they tried to make Joe Biden look cool. Joe Biden put on aviators, right, during this thing. They used the remote wheelchair. It kind of looks like the lift, like at the church, like the wheelchair lift at the church. These guys going up. You ever seen like the wheelchair lift at the church for like the 3 stairs getting into the church, and like you have to put the lady in the wheelchair and it goes up? Like that's kind of, they gave Joe Biden the wheelchair lift, essentially, is what this was. Well, the other thing I love about this clip is that Bill Clinton misses his arm. And then Joe Biden tries to shake Barack Obama's hand. Look, dude, I've seen robots, like Tesla robots, like shake hands with less rigidity than this. Look, Joe Biden's moving like the TI-83. And then after this, Joe Biden says he stood for too long and he immediately runs to his chair. So these other guys, and I think Bill Clinton's about as old as Joe Biden. These other guys, like, look, Joe Biden like runs to his chair saying, that's enough time. He doesn't even shake Stephen Colbert's hand. So who had a better entrance, ladies and gentlemen? Who had a better entrance? We lined them up. So this is the epic Joe Biden entrance.
Hey, Maca gang, hey, so Maca down, Maca on my chain. Me and you ain't the same on the game. Hey, Donald Trump is your president, if you like it or not. Keep the energy you had with Barack. Cause you know this Trump train don't stop. Tell Beto to please come try to take my block. You wanna impeach him? I guess that's what you do when you can't beat him.
I'll take the Trump intro any day, ladies and gentlemen. I was actually there for that. This is RNC 2016. No better political intro in history. Can't be topped. Won't be topped. We'll see what they do this summer. Ladies and gentlemen, there was certainly a solemn, like less celebratory, but certainly serious moment. Again, as these guys were doing their little jackass thing, raising money, and like, you know, running for cover as Lizzo takes the stage. Donald Trump was there to cover for the effectively like the incompetence, the cruelty, the demonic crime that has been allowed to overtake New York, and to comfort the wives, children of this slain officer, Jonathan Diller. Donald Trump spoke at the wake, very short comments, and here's what the president had to say.
What happened is such a sad event, such a horrible thing, and it's happening all too often, and we're just not going to let it happen. We just can't. 21 times arrested, this thug, and the person in the car with him was arrested many times, and they don't learn because they don't respect. They're not given the respect. The police are the greatest people we have. There's nothing and there's nobody like them, and this should never happen. I just visited with a very beautiful wife that now doesn't have her husband. Stephanie was just incredible. Their child, brand new, beautiful baby, sitting there innocent as can be, and doesn't know how his life has been changed. But the Diller family you'll never be the same. You can never be the same. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it. We have to get back to law and order. We have to do a lot of things differently because this is not working. This is happening too often.
So the reports are that Donald Trump paid off the mortgage for this family. I'm not sure if that's been confirmed yet. I saw that yesterday, that Donald Trump paid off the mortgage of this poor family who lost their wife, lost her husband. Son now is going to be raised without a father. Tunnels to Towers paid it off. Okay. So Tunnels to Tower, awesome organization. We've done some work with them. They're great, truly a wonderful organization. And so they paid off the mortgage of the family. Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, he raised $1.5 million for the family. So people are like out here to take care, like trying to take care of them. But the only politician invited was Donald Trump at this event. The police chief who invited him was on TV last night and was explaining like what it was like to have Donald Trump there with the family. I got to tell you, I have no ambition to run for office at all. I know. Maybe this makes you sad. Maybe it makes you glad. But I have no ambition to run for office. I don't want to run for office. Who needs the headache? I love doing this. This is like we're living out our dreams every single day on this program. I have no ambition to run for office. But let's say that I did, and let's say this was something that let's say this was something that I was called to do later in life. This would be my least favorite part of the job. My least favorite part of the job would be having to go and comfort wives who, these criminal communists, these people, these sick, demonic Marxists in New York, let these guys out of jail. You know, they really only have to arrest. It's a very interesting stats. You really only would have to arrest and lock up like 100 people. You know, the vast majority of crime is done by these like career criminals, these people that should be in psych wards. It's people who should, quite frankly, be like locked down and kind of in a more civilized time. You would take someone like this, who's like clearly psychologically broken, and you just lock them away. You just say you're insane. You're a harm to yourself and you're a harm to society. And so we're not going to allow you to go out and punch people or shoot cops. We're not going to arrest you time and time again and let you out again and again and again. But we don't live in a civilized society, at least not in states like New York. And so then these people get freed, and then they go and destroy families. And so once again, the worst people are promoted and liberated and coddled by society, and the best people, like this New York cop, Jonathan Diller, we lose them. So we promote and free and liberate the worst people and literally trade the lives for the worst people. The best people traded for the worst. Look at this man and his beautiful son. I have a son not too much younger than that. It's enough to rip your heart out, ladies and gentlemen. It's tough. So thank God for Donald Trump and for his vision on moments like this. And we're just thankful that at least there's something. There's some shred of dignity left. And boy, it's been hard to watch. So that's your difference. There's your red pill, blue pill. There's your difference, ladies and gentlemen, in what happened yesterday. And it was heart-wrenching. One vision for the country is trotting like a bunch of sexual predators dancing around on stage while their own party screams at them to lock them up. And then one vision for the party is a commander-in-chief who actually respects his nation and respects law enforcement and is there grieving with the families. Whew. Man, it would be tough to do that. I put myself in those shoes. Donald Trump had to do that a lot. You know, that's just that's the role of the commander-in-chief. You put yourself in those shoes. You have to absorb people's pain and grieving. Could you imagine something worse than that, losing your husband? And then could you imagine the anger that you feel toward the people and the policies that did that to you? Ugh. That was in Long Island. Long Island is a wonderful place. Long Island's been doing something very interesting this week and very funny this week. Long Island had a Kathy Griffin show. You remember Kathy Griffin, right? Held up the bloody Trump head. That's the only thing people will ever remember her for. Okay? It's the only thing she'll ever. She's had a very long career. You watch old Seinfeld episodes, you see Kathy Griffin on those, from the early 90s. So she's had this very long career, but Kathy Griffin trying to resuscitate her career after that photo and, not going great. The Kathy Griffin, everywhere she goes for her new comedy show, really comedy shows, more like a therapy couch, psychotic break, is getting protested everywhere she goes by MAGA. She has MAGA protests that follow her throughout the country and protest her shows. So this is like sort of your good news for the day. Kathy, this is what it looked like in Long Island, same place that Trump was last night. Same area of the country, obviously, that lost Jonathan Diller. This was the Trump train showing up outside of Kathy Griffin's show. It literally looked like a Trump rally. Kathy Griffin's having a public meltdown because MAGA is putting on MAGA parades outside of her show. It's great. Here's her reaction.
You're back to selling out shows.
Yes.
Yeah. But you still have to deal and contend with these Trump supporters.
They're crazed over me.
Yeah.
So there was an actual parade Sunday night at my show in Huntington, New York.
Yeah.
And they had all these Trumpers organize an anti-Kathy Griffin parade. It was kind of funny because they did have a bobbing redhead of me in effigy. And they were shouting, and I'm a traitor, and all this and the other stuff. But the audience came inside, so it was like hate on the outside and inclusive love and laughs on the inside, and it was sold out.
But that's
Whoa, hold on. Wait a second. We actually researched this for a video we did earlier. We researched this. Her shows aren't sold out. We'll prove it to you. We can actually we actually have the shows. We have the billing for her show. Her shows aren't sold out. They're like half sold out. And again, like, why wouldn't you want to spend an evening with Kathy Griffin? The lady who said that she went to the psych ward. The lady that said, we talked a little bit about psych wards on the show. The lady that said she nearly put in to a psych internment because of Donald Trump. You want to talk about what late stage TDS, end stage TDS actually looks like? It's checking yourself in and strapping yourself into a straitjacket, which I think a lot of these people deserve, quite frankly, because of your hatred of Donald Trump. Here she is admitting it.
your first tour in 6 years.
6 years I was out of work because of that. There, I said what it was. All about a picture. A picture I took. Making fun of the president, which you're supposed to do as a comic.
Yeah. They made you pay. Yeah.
The term in the title PTSD is not used lightly.
No.
Because you have survived so much career cancellation and a federal investigation over the Trump photo controversy.
No fly list. Interpol list, stopped at every airport, the whole thing.
Yeah, you also, and none of these are small, a pill addiction. A suicide attempt.
Suicide attempt.
Lung cancer.
And I was on a psych hold for 3 days. And I know you can tell why. But I was on a psych hold, so it was like I was like Britney and Kanye combined.
Wow.
And I was like, I walked into my own act.
Wow.
Psych hold for 3 days.
But you also...
But now I'm in recovery. I'm sober 3.5 years.
That's amazing.
Choose your heroes carefully, kids. They might end up like Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin's also a liar. Again, I have a sold out show. I have sold out tour. No, you don't. Like you, do you know this is public, right? You know we can go here. This is public, right? So this is this is her next show. It's in Phoenix, and there's seats in every single section. Every section says available. The key here is that yellow means available. So every single section there's available seats. And you can do this through her website. You realize we have eyeballs, right? You realize we can like just go click on a few things on the internet and see that you're lying to us, okay? Boy, who wouldn't want to spend time with Kathy Griffin? So deeply well adjusted, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, man. Okay. So we have some interesting news cycles going on right now. Obviously, Bill Clinton was on stage. Bill Clinton's a sexual predator, right? He was on stage listening to an accused sexual predator, Lizzo, and they were all like clapping together and being celebrated by the media, and they're celebrated wall to wall by the media. The media, on the other hand, is taking an opportunity. The people who protected Bill Clinton were taking an opportunity to go after and manipulate and malign live on air one of the best members of Congress that we got. Somebody who we've been a big fan of on this program for a long while. Her name is Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace is from South Carolina. She's on House Oversight Committee. And she joins the show now to talk about it. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being on the program. Really appreciate it. We were kind of stunned a week ago when we saw this George Stephanopoulos bullshit. Pardon my French, but like, my jaws were on the floor. We played the clip on the show before. I think the audience is familiar with it. Were you expecting this to happen?
No, not at all. I mean, if I were told it were going to happen, I certainly wouldn't have brought my underage daughter to the set. She was with me that day, and they still decided that this is what they were going to do in a 10-minute interview, was bully a survivor of rape in front of my daughter, by the way, my underage daughter. It's disgusting.
So, yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to talk about this off the top. I want to talk about a bunch of stuff, but I just couldn't believe how, what a bloody cheek this guy, because this is the Bill Clinton sexual accuser's protectorate, right? This was the guy, this was the guy who, he's the guy who like made all of the dozens, at least, of sexual assault allegations against Bill Clinton all go away. Bill Clinton had to pay out a bunch of these women. And George Stephanopoulos, of all people, a little monster, he's the guy who protected Bill from this. And he has the audacity to go after you?
Yeah, exactly. It was shameful is what it was. And what we see is that, you know, rape is bad unless you're a conservative woman or you're a woman with an R by your name. And then we're going to bully you and shame you, embarrass you, drag you through the mud and, you know, threaten your life. In fact, we had somebody just a few days after that interview arrested because of a death threat. Actually, it was a rape and kill threat. And I'm getting threats every day still now. And I think we're about 2 weeks out from that interview. But at the same time, I was able to correct the record on what happened with Donald Trump because he wasn't convicted of rape. He was not held liable for rape either. And so, you know, being able to correct that and now seeing him sue ABC News this week, seeing him sue George Stephanopoulos because he's after the truth, and the American people deserve nothing less than the truth. They've been lied to by figureheads, talking heads, liberals like George Stephanopoulos. He's basically a bridge troll with a microphone. But all these liberal talking heads don't want to have conservatives on the air. If you get on the air, they fire you. And, you know, they should be sued for the lies that they told. And I hope that Donald Trump gets about $175 million, whatever the bond is in New York, is what he should be going after now.
Yeah, Donald Trump is suing, and you were right. We couldn't believe your composure during all of this. This is why we were like so excited to have you on the show. Your composure was remarkable. We're so disgusted that you had to sit through that. Yet Bill Clinton, George Stephanopoulos' old boss, who is in the Epstein papers. So the Epstein documents, we just have like a small portion of them out. He's named 127 times in these Epstein documents.
Yeah,
this guy's a monster. I mean, he's a monster. He has this long rap sheet, and he celebrated last night on stage. Everyone's clapping for him. Pretty remarkable, the difference.
It's disgusting to see what they do, and what I think, you know, how bad Joe Biden's polling is, that this is what they decide to do to a survivor of rape. And I don't want to discount anyone's stories. The reason I didn't reach across and curse them out in the middle of that interview is that rape is serious. Women that are rape victims, we don't joke about rape. We don't joke about the amount of money in a judgment. It is the kind of thing that you're judged for, you're shamed for a lifetime. I'll go online. I try to read the comments, but occasionally I do. And there are all these leftists out there saying, oh, well, you never raped. It never actually happened. Or you deserved it because you're a slut, right? And so that's like where they go with it, where the left goes. And it's like, well, because I'm Republican, this is where we are on the TDS timeline. the Trump derangement syndrome timeline. If you're a Republican and you're raped, well, we're just going to mock you, bully you, and shame you online. You can go on my everywhere on Nancy Mace on my social media handles, and you can see all this. It goes on day in and day out, and the threats, they're every day right now. It's insane what's going on.
Well, we're thankful, obviously, that authorities are taking these threats seriously. We were disgusted by what Bill Clinton's sexual abuse fixer, George Stephanopoulos, did to you. Obviously, George Stephanopoulos hasn't had to answer for anything that Bill Clinton did on Epstein Island.
No apology, nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. So we would like to, because you were such a class act on the show, I guess before we move on, I'd like to give you an opportunity. What would you like to say to George Stephanopoulos?
Well, I actually, right when the show was done, I went over to him in his little seat, in his little chair, and I made him look me in the eye, and I made him shake my hand. And that guy wouldn't even get up out of his chair and say anything to me on the way out. I mean, it was so disgusting to me. But the one thing I do want to say is I want to thank everybody that came, that had my six, that had my back that week. And it was really a moment for the party to unite, whether you're MAGA, whether you're right of center, conservative, moderate, defense hawks, whatever. It was an opportunity for a lot of people to bring the party together under Donald Trump and move us forward and show women that we do care, that we're not going to treat you this way, that your truth is real, and that we're going to defend you when you're going to be bullied like this as a rape survivor. And so from that perspective, I think it was a real moment for the Republican Party uniting together, because we really need to do that ahead of November. We've got to bring independents into the fold if we want to win. We've got to bring suburban women to the fold. We've got to bring people that haven't been with us for the last couple of years, bring them back home, give them a safe place to land, and know that we're going to protect you. We're going to protect women. You're safe. We're going to close the border. We're going to keep illegals out, and we're going to make sure that women are protected. And I think it was a real moment for us, and then we really shined in it. And I'm really grateful.
Did you hear from Donald Trump after that?
I certainly heard from his camp, from folks close to him about that. And, they were really grateful for me defending him and actually telling the truth, because he was never convicted in a court of law criminally. He was never held liable for rape or sexual assault even. The $83 million was for defamation that we all know. He defended himself over the accusations. And so, being able to correct the record as we did in a professional way and being taken seriously, I think really opened a lot of eyes. And my sense was that they were very grateful for that, and me being able to have the opportunity to set the record straight on what Trump did and absolutely did not do. And the jury actually had a chance to hold him liable for rape, and they literally chose not to because the evidence didn't support it.
We certainly hope that George Stephanopoulos gets held liable for his comments and his own defamation there. And it's a deeply evil and disturbed thing to do. Yeah. Moving on to congressional investigations, you triggered. You tend to have the capacity to trigger these cretinous men. Hunter Biden was in the oversight committee hearing room, and as soon as you began questioning him about his own sex crimes, which obviously the Mann Act violations, transporting sex workers across state lines, all the Diddy stuff, like this is the kind of stuff that they raided Diddy's house for. It's all available on Hunter Biden's laptop. When you started questioning, Hunter Biden, sex pest, put his tail between his legs and ran out, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, what does he have to hide, right? I mean, this guy is saying for months he would come before the committee, that he would do a public hearing, and then, just decides not to show up, or showed up one time with a Netflix or, streaming camera crew as he's rebuilding his brand and earning money off his father's back. But we all know, and in the last hearing that he was invited to, or his business partner showed up, he chose not to. But we were able to connect Joe Biden to Hunter Biden, because that's what the impeachment inquiry is all about. It's about the president. It's about how involved he was in these pay-to-play bribery schemes. And the reason I believe that Hunter Biden is refusing to show up is that we're going to do it through bank records and credit card records with him in the room, and showcase how tied in they were, that his father was actually his closer for all of his businesses. And I will tell you, when Hunter Biden came in for the behind closed doors deposition, the first person he beelined to after his first hour was to me, because he was so slick that he thought that, because he was so slick that he could convince me, of all people, skeptics of skeptics that prove the truth and are very good at it, would somehow buy all of his lies hook, line, and sinker. It was wild.
So wait a second. What did Hunter Biden say to you?
He came up to me and said he was not as evil as I was portraying him to be. And I'm like, well, no, actually, you're a liar and you are conflicted in your testimony with your business partners. Somebody's not telling the truth. And I believe that it's you. And we had his business partners, some of them in a few weeks ago in oversight, and their testimony was vastly different than Hunter Biden's. He's not the Boy Scout he wants you to believe he is. And what we learned was that Joe Biden, every time he had dinner, a lunch, a phone call with his son and his business partners, Hunter Biden family and associates, they all made millions of dollars days later.
So Joe Biden's been subpoenaed or called to come in and testify. We're not going to hold our breath. Hunter Biden, we don't know actually the rules. Can he be held in contempt again? Because it was the first contempt hearing that he showed up with. He showed up and then he finally bent and did behind closed doors. Does he have to testify in public?
He will if we subpoena him. So my hope is that when we get back, there will be a subpoena to compel him. The last time we invited him, we did 2 invitations this year. One was a subpoena, and we were going to hold him in contempt if he didn't show up, but he ended up doing the deposition. So this last one a few weeks ago was just an invitation by letter. The next step would be to subpoena him. And if he doesn't show up, then we have the right and the ability and the authority to hold him in contempt of Congress, which is what we should do. I don't believe he'll show up. We all know what he's afraid of. He begged for months on bended knee that he wanted to come publicly before the Oversight Committee. We've given him a chance now twice, and he hasn't done it.
So hopefully that charge goes to the DOJ. I don't know, man. They're locking up Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro.
They're not going to do anything. I mean, come on. We refer charges, which is likely going to be the outcome. We refer criminal charges. Let's be honest. Nothing is going to change until Donald Trump is president. Nothing changes. And this is the deep state. This is what they do. They protect their own. They protect the far left. And that's what they're doing now.
We've had a number of members of the Judiciary and Oversight Committee on the program, including Chairman Comer. And the chairman said the deep state is totally and completely interfering with our investigation. At every turn, they either stop us, stonewall us, they arrest our witnesses. This is like Gestapo tactics. It's crazy.
Well, they mislead too. I mean, look at what happened with the FBI in the 1023 form. We had the FBI on record telling the committee and its members in both parties that the witness, that we didn't have his name, we had no identifying information, we didn't know who the witness was, that they were credible and that they were trustworthy. And in fact, this person was paid $600,000 plus to be a credible witness for the FBI. And then all of a sudden, as the heat gets put on Joe Biden, they indict the guy and say he's totally untrustworthy, totally not credible. Even Jamie Raskin was on record saying the FBI told the Oversight Committee, the witness in the 1023 form about the $10 million bribe was trustworthy and credible. That is what they do. We saw them with the Russia hoax, the laptop hoax, having all these folks that are former spies or former spooks from these 3-letter agencies go on record and promote these lies. And this is what they do. And it's insane because every time Donald Trump has told us what's happened, it's come true. Even as outlandish as some of them are, we all thought, oh my gosh, well, no, they actually spied on his campaign. The laptop actually is real. There was no Russia hoax. And Clinton paid for it, by the way. I mean, all these things, and no one on the left is ever held accountable, ever. And that's a deep state covering for Biden and all of their cronies.
Yeah, I think people are really starting. I mean, there's only so much erosion you can do to an institution before the institution itself collapses, right? And Americans are kind of sick of this. I would like to change to a lighter note. What was it like listening to AOC say that RICO's not a crime? That's pretty interesting in your committee.
I mean, I think my jaw was on the floor, and I loved watching Bobulinski just completely annihilate her. I mean, literally, look at Georgia and look at Fani Willis and the RICO charges. I mean, I can't think of anything dumber to say, and the left says some pretty dumb things, like they did last night, protesting at Joe Biden's fundraiser.
Yeah, that's right. I've listened. Not a MAGA hat in sight. There are thousands of people in dark blue New York, probably the highest density of Democrat voters, protesting Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, calling them all war criminals. This election seems very winnable, actually, in 2024. You're very close with Donald Trump. You appear on stage with him all the time. I'm sure you talk with him all the time. You're from South Carolina. You flipped to blue district red. And so how are we going to win in 2024?
Well, we're going to win in 2024 with Donald Trump at the top of the ticket, number one. I believe that he's got more support than we're seeing in polls. Even I had a constituent call, and I'm in a very purple district. About 40% of my voters in my district are independent or unaffiliated. I have 32% Republican, 28% Democrat. Okay. And I had an unaffiliated voter call, used to be a Republican, not anymore. They're independent. And they voted for Trump in 2016. They did not vote for president in 2020 because they didn't like either option and didn't like the tweets, whatever. This year they called, and the first thing out of their mouth was, we can't have 4 more years of Joe Biden. I was happier. I was making more money. The country was more prosperous. We didn't have these wars overseas. The Middle East wasn't falling apart. Terrorism wasn't on the rise. The border was secure. All that happened under Donald Trump. And he's like, I'm voting for Donald Trump. My friends are voting for Donald Trump. And I'm trying to convince other independent voters to vote for Donald Trump. We can't do 4 more years of this. And I think you're seeing sort of an undercurrent. I believe it'll be a wave of people. But the other thing that we have to do is we have to involve women in the party, and we have to show women that we're compassionate and that we care, and that we're not going to abandon them post Roe v. Wade. Whether you're pro-life or somewhere in the middle or pro-choice, we have got to make a concerted effort to show women that we care. And that is through what Donald Trump did right out the gate after the Alabama ruling about IVF. He came out right in support of IVF. Those are the kinds of things under his leadership that he's doing that we need to be able to do. And he's talking about them all in the right way. But we as Republicans have to stop attacking one another, we got to stop Kevin McCarthy from trying to take out good conservatives out of their primaries. And we've got to get back to getting our nation back, getting independent voters into the fold, and bringing women back. That's what we've got to do to win in 24. And I believe Donald Trump is the man to do it.
I really wish you had given the response to the State of the Union. You don't have to say anything. I really wish you had given the response to the State of the Union, Congresswoman. So you're telling me that the rising up, the wheelchair lift that they did last night with Joe Biden and Barack Obama, you're telling me that this isn't going to convince independent voters, that like the young voters aren't coming back because of the wheelchair lift?
Yeah, they're not. And African-American, Black and brown voters are leaving him in droves. I mean, statistically, the highest it's ever been, and they're going to Donald Trump. It's amazing to see what's going on. And you saw last night, the left flank of the Democrat Party chanting, shouting, screaming, down with the USA, down with the USA. That's what they were doing last night. That's what they want. That's why you had all these illegals coming across the border, because they want to vote in our elections. They want to change the face of the country so that no Republican can ever get elected in our nation again. That's what they want. They want to destroy our country.
Final question for you, since you just mentioned the border and the human trafficking, the sex trafficking that's going on. There's a big news cycle right now about rapper Diddy, big time Democrat donor, pusher of Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, said that white men, this is an exact quote, white men like Donald Trump need to be banished, right? Need to be banished. And yet he's the guy getting stung and raided by the feds over these egregious sex crimes. I mean, if you read the lawsuits and the filings against him, I mean, this guy's truly demonic. What Congress has, and people are calling him the Jeffrey Epstein of the music industry. Congress has the capacity to request the evidence that's being hoovered up by the feds here, right? So the feds went and raided Little St. James, and they took all this evidence, and none of it, we've never seen any of it. We've never seen a single Epstein client list. We've never seen, make some of your friends at ABC sweat. Would you be in favor of subpoenaing? Would you be in favor of subpoenaing like what we know about Epstein Island?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, this is a story that's not been told. And I have made, especially women who are victims of crimes, sex crimes in particular, I have made this a center point and focus of my legislative career. In fact, when the Diddy story happened, one of the things that I noticed was that he had a camera in every room. And I recently filed a bill like 2 weeks ago. Is the Stop Voyeurs Act. Under Title 18 of federal law, it's not illegal except for in certain maritime jurisdictions and territories to record someone without their knowledge or consent in an intimate setting like that under federal law. Every state has different laws. Some of them are stronger than others, but I'm changing these laws. And so the bill that I'm working on would affect these female victims under federal law. And I'm also trying to increase their civil torts, their civil claims over if they are recorded. $150,000 civil tort for a woman, a victim like this in this case, is nothing, right? It needs to be higher so that someone like this who's recording women doesn't do it ever again. But I support obviously all the J6 tapes coming out. I support any client list, any evidence we can get out of Epstein Island to expose who some of these people may have been, because the government isn't doing that. No one's ever been held accountable for being on that client list and abusing these women, underage girls, for doing this. No one has ever gone to jail except for Ghislaine, I guess, but the only one.
Yes.
And it's crazy to me that we're protecting rich and powerful men, and these women, dozens of them, hundreds of them, being victims, and nothing's ever happened. It's disgusting.
Yes, that's right. And Bill Clinton and Lizzo share the stage last night, and they're celebrating. People clap like seals for them. And I think if everyone knew if people knew, the truth is the light, right? Like if people knew, then they'd never be able to show their faces in public again, and presumably they'd be locked up for their crimes. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think there are two, and to close on this, I think there are two types of people. I think there are people who want to be right all the time, and then there are people who want the truth. And that's what our movement is about. That's what MAGA is about. That's what Donald Trump is about. People are desperate for the truth, just facts. That's it. And we win on the facts. We win on the truth. And we just got to make sure everybody knows the truth.
Speaking the truth, slinging the truth, spitting fire in Congress, it's Congresswoman Nancy Mace, making South Carolina proud. Make sure that you follow her on her social media. Here's her X account. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, baby. We're going to get that 200,000 followers. Let's go. Get on over there. Follow Rep Nancy Mace. She's one of the best out there.
Thank you so much. You're very generous and very kind, and likewise.
All right, baby. Okay. Some fire there from the Congresswoman. Very excited to have her on the show. Wanted to have the Congresswoman on the show for quite a while. So pretty awesome. Stay tuned, obviously. We have a couple of wild weeks coming up here. You're going to want to stay locked in to our program. Use your Patriot Mobile device when you do that. If you're not on Patriot Mobile, you should be. Patriot Mobile is the company that sort of powers our show. We're on Patriot Mobile. We go all over the place, do a lot of reporting, a lot of in-depth stuff from way out in the middle of nowhere. And Patriot Mobile is our technological ally. They are the only Christian conservative wireless provider in the country, and they are on all three major networks, and you can use your phone without funding the left. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny or call 972-PATRIOT for free activation today with the offer code Benny. patriotmobile.com/Benny. Make the switch today. So we were just talking about Diddy. Why not jump in, baby? Because apparently there were plenty of people jumping in. Diddy's freak-out parties, if you know what I mean. Diddy's LA home surveillance footage seized by federal agents amid sex trafficking probe. Oh, isn't that interesting? Wow. What do you know? They took his cameras. They took his server. In fact, according to this report from, I believe, TMZ, the first thing federal agents did was disable his security cameras and seized the hard drives that was hidden in a safe where he was able to film all of the, according to reports, politicians. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder who he filmed. How'd he get raided? He filmed the wrong guy. That's what happened. He filmed the wrong guy. Truly, that's exactly what happened here. He was filming the wrong people. Why does he have such a big mansion? Why does he have such a big place? Every single room wired with cameras. So the first thing that happened, ladies and gentlemen, is they took the tapes. What have we been telling you? It's so nice to be right. So nice to be right. All the time. That's why we watch. Let's go.
Fox News alert. We're learning a lot more about the massive federal sex trafficking raid at Diddy's homes in Miami and LA. According to TMZ, the first thing the feds did once they got to Diddy's property was immediately disable his surveillance system and seize all his footage. And it wasn't just security footage they were after. Homeland Security also confiscated hard drives, phones, and other electronics, focusing on finding photos, emails, and names linking others to the alleged sex trafficking operation. These tactics straight out of the Epstein playbook. Seize the footage, But then what? Bury it? Blackmail with it? We don't know. Will anybody ever know what was on Diddy's cameras? And will this investigation lead to indictments that go higher up the food chain? And how high? Politicians, athletes, celebrities, music executives, all were recorded inside Diddy's parties. Officials say that Diddy's alleged victims have not been holding back during their interviews and are telling investigators everything.
Guy's cooked, dude. Guy's cooked. He's over. He filmed the wrong politician. He filmed Gavin Newsom or somebody inside of the federal government or Bill Clinton. Who knows? Like, who knows, right? Like, the Clintons were really close with Diddy. There's all these videos and photos of them all together. What's he got, man? He's got something. He's got something, and he's not going to be able to buy his way out of this one. Although somebody who could buy their way out pretty much anything these days is Donald Trump. Donald Trump now richer than George Soros. Come on, baby. Come on. Do we have the Trump victory music? Another Trump victory? Donald Trump, bigger and better and richer than George Soros. It's Trump victory, okay? We're gonna change it to Trump victory. This is for our election night during the primaries whenever Trump won a state. We're breaking our finger off on Super Tuesday playing that thing. So now Donald Trump is richer than George Soros and Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban may move back to Cuba. We're not sure. He is a Cuban, after all. I don't know. What do I know? Turns out that Donald Trump is now worth $7 billion. Mark Cuban is just has a pittance of $7.34 billion. And richer than George Soros. Donald Trump is richer than George Soros, set to overtake Mark Cuban. Former president's net worth soared more than $4 billion this year after to an estimated $7.2 billion on Bloomberg's billionaire index. It's a highly sought after and coveted place to be. He's richer than George Soros. I don't know exactly how much money does Soros have. Where's George Soros on this list? Let me see. Look like Reed Hastings, Gordon Getty, Home Depot co-founder Bernie Marcus, who's a big Trump supporter, are on the list. But Trump's richer than Soros, so it's pretty exciting. It looks like George Soros has $3 billion. So George, $3 billion, is this the right number? 377? What's that?
7.16.
7.16.
377th on the list.
Oh, 377th on the list. Okay, 7.16. Okay, got it. All right. So George Soros, Donald Trump's richer than Soros now. So the guy can that's who the election's against, right? So there it is. This is the election, the battle of the billionaires. Look at how much horrors this man has wrought on our country. What if conservatives did the same thing? What if conservatives organized the same way and leveraged, a bunch of conservatives on that list? Bernie Marcus is on that list. He's a big time Trump backer. What if they organize the same way that the left does? We need to unite and win. It's amazing. George Soros has been able to destroy this country with just a little bit of money, and conservatives could save the country with just a little bit of money, with just a little bit of organizing. We just need to get serious about this. That's what this show's about. So we haven't done Assault That Lib in the show. Don't worry, we got you. Here's Libs be very, very salty about Donald Trump becoming richer than Soros.
Media company are exploding higher again today. The company, formerly known as the Trump Media and Technology Group, only has one real product. That's Truth Social, and it's barely making any money. It's losing users. But Trump's stake in the company means his net worth has more than doubled, at least on paper. For the first time ever, he's made it onto the Bloomberg list of the 500 richest people in the world, and he clocks in as of this morning at 377.
No, he actually just got this guy is the luckiest guy in the world, but Trump Social, Trump Social, but Truth Social just got permission to go public.
Right.
And so his stake, because it's a meme stock, a little like GameStop, is worth $3.5 billion right now, and it could go higher if people bid it up.
He definitely made a deal with the devil at some point.
Something.
Because he always lucks out on everything.
Yeah.
He has the best enemies. Look at Michael Avenatti. Look at Fonnie Willis now in Georgia. The best enemies. Who just, it helps him so much.
And Merrick Garland fucked it all up. He's dithered for, now we're probably not even going to see any of the trials. He just always lucks his way into everything.
Sorry about that. We typically bleep F-bombs on the program, but we were getting together a Salt That Lib and might have had some salt in the bleeper button, ladies and gentlemen. Super salty week. It's been an exciting week. Donald Trump's had some massive victories this week, and it inspires us. We, as a movement, wish to celebrate, move forward, march forward together. America First is kind of the banner that can unite us all. Certainly ain't the Republican Party. We've gone hard at the Republican Party, ladies and gentlemen, this week. So we want to sort of build something that's better, like a structure that's better. That's why our Benny Brigade exists. You should join the Benny Brigade at BennyJohnson.com. You can ask the questions of the week. We always do questions of the week from the audience. So the Ask Benny Anything segment here. Do we have a stinger for it? No, not the old one. Well, why not? Well, we'll play the old one. Let's see. What does it look like? Not bad. Okay, we're gonna improve. We have increased our drip on this program, so we shall improve that stinger, ladies and gentlemen. We want to begin by doing a massive shout out to our dear friend Lenny Bonader. I believe I'm saying that correctly. I've never heard it pronounced, but Lenny Bonader has been discharged from the hospital. He sent us this email about a week ago and has been discharged from the hospital. He has to go to rehab now, and he's moving down to Florida. So he's ready to go, and he says the Benny Show has been a huge part in the movement. Congratulations, and has helped with his recovery from the hospital. So Godspeed, Lenny. We see you in the comment section. Everyone give some love to Lenny. He is a great patriot, and we're super thankful for you, sir, and your support on the program. Lenny, we look forward to seeing you. Maybe we'll have you, come on down and see the studio when you move to Florida. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go next to Stella, who says, a few weeks ago, you showed the front page of the Western Australian titled Weekend Bidens, asked if he was able to get an actual copy of the paper. Well, I've sourced a front page copy of the Western Australian. If you would like for me to send it, please provide me with an address and I can mail it to you. I live in Sydney. Yes. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Have we reached out? Have we reached? I'm doing it, ALX. You're on screen. Doing it. Have we reached out to Stella?
We just got this morning, so we want to.
Okay, all right. I want it. Stella, thank you. We'll put it up in the studio. Where are we going to put it, Royce? Royce has got a spot? I got a spot. Royce is going to... Where's it going to go, Royce? Here he comes. Here he comes. Royce is going to run into the studio. He's going to show you, Stella.
He's going to live
Stella, if you're watching, here comes a live Rolls Royce, and get out of the shot. Right there.
Right
okay,
there.
all right.
A little dark.
In case you guys are... Hey, we'll put a splash on it. Okay, I like that. Thank you, Stella. We would love that. We'll ALX will be in contact. We'll send you our address, and you'll see that in the studio. It was a great cover. We should totally can we source that and we'll put it up. Wayne says, "How do I contribute to you? I'm already a brigade member. I'd like to contribute more. I really believe in what you're doing, and I watch your show daily. I want to help." Well, Wayne, I guess we'll have to think about that. I mean, it's like extremely humbling. Our show here is 100% independent. It allows it's quite frankly funded by everyone watching. And so we have a great team here. We have the best team, and we're literally publishing around the clock, making content. Like, we have a country to save, right? So we're going to work with that effort to save the country. We're not in it for the money. So want to make that very clear here, right? We have humble beginnings, and we have a humble little studio that we broadcast from, and we're like just deeply thankful and grateful for God's providence and blessing. And so there's your weekend at Biden's. We'll get that up. So I don't know, Wayne. We'll be in contact. Maybe we can do something charitable together. The other thing we like to do is take whatever that God provides to us and try and do charity. We've built a toy store, a free toy store in the poorest county in America. This last week, we gave away a lot of money in East Palestine, right before the government ever gave anyone anything. We were there to help out, giving away all of our earnings, So we love doing charitable events. We're going to do more charity, actually. God calls us to do that. So maybe you can just be part of that, right? We'll be in contact, Wayne. So, maybe we can be part of that. We have some big ideas, actually, for things we like to do. Like this, the cop, right? The cop, they bought out the mortgage to make sure that family didn't have to worry about anything. That's the kind of stuff we'd really like to do more of. And so, Wayne, we'll be in touch. Susan Summer says, how are we going to be able to hold on to a 1-seat majority, and can we get anything passed? And the reality is no, we couldn't get things passed with a 10-seat majority, which we had at the beginning of Congress. So how are we going to get things passed with a 1-seat majority? I'm unbelievably disappointed at the Republicans in the House. I still am really concerned about the sort of fracturing there, because you do have to actually unite and win. You can't. A house divided against itself will fall. People say that's an Abe Lincoln quote, but it's really like a paraphrase from Christ himself. And so we can't be we're so divided as a party. And you saw it was just nothing but infighting. You have to actually unite together to accomplish goals, and you have to have a unifying force. And so I think that's partly what Trump is right now. Even Mitch McConnell's out endorsing Trump, but you gotta create an actual movement there, right? It has to be an actual movement with power behind it. And so, sadly, we didn't get what we deserved as Republicans. We deserved to have a majority that actually did something for us because we gave them the majority. Now it looks like we're going to lose it. In just 2 years, they're going to flip the House. In just 2 years, they get handed it to them in 2022. And it's going to flip. Dude, unbelievable. And the only reason why they got the majority, of course, the only reason why it was so thin in the first place was Sam Bankman fraud. Sam Bankman fraud was sentenced yesterday, 25 years, because he stole all the money from the people in his crypto exchange and used it to fund Democrat races. $70 million. He put in more money than George Soros did into Democrat races. Bastard. And now he got a super light sentence. He got half of what the federal government was asking for, and a fourth of what he should have been charged based on the charging guidelines. And the judge gave him effectively gave him the lightest sentence possible for his crimes. Stole $8 billion. And that's how Democrats were able to keep that majority so thin, was because of fraud. I mean, literally because they stole from the American people and then continue to steal from the American people. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to end on a dark note. It's just we have work to do. And so we do that on this program. We have work to do on this program. And the work we do, we try and send light. We try and, whether it's giving or, whether it's memes or just having a laugh, we try and bring light and levity. And, emails from Lenny sort of uplift us, because Lenny's rehabilitating in the hospital. We're not sure from what, but he was in the hospital. And it was this show that was, lifting them up every single day. And that's what we aim to do here. So Godspeed, Lenny. Thank you, Susan, Wayne, and Stella, for your comments. We look forward to putting up that Joe Biden copy in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, if we have no uplifting news for you, either way, we'll always give you uplifting, because we have our verse of the day. It is Good Friday. In the Christian tradition, Good Friday is the day that Christ died on the cross. And so this is a day that you say and you state that Christ is king. This is the day that Christ died for all of our sins and then goes on to defeat Satan and defeat death. We talk a lot about victory And this is what I mean when I say we march forward towards victory, because the battle's already won, because Christ already defeated Satan. And that battle 2021 years ago, 25 years ago, was fought today. So keep that on your hearts, ladies and gentlemen, with our verse of the day. He said to them, you are from below and I am from above. You are of this world and I am not of this world. I told you that I would die in your sins. For unless you believe that I am he, you will die in your sins. John 8:23. Ooh, Royce, I thought this would be the crucifixion verse. No? Can't get like an actual Good Friday verse? We actually read this last night. Hold on, I got you. I got my little Bible app that I read from every night. Royce, we got to do the Good Friday verse of the day. Royce picks our verse of the day every single day. And so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm reading from Matthew 27. For Matthew 27. So the death of Jesus. Now it was the 6th hour, and there was darkness all over the land until the 9th hour. And it was about the 9th hour, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, my God, why have you forsaken me? And Jesus gave up his spirit. Jesus cried out again with a loud voice and yielded up his spirit. And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two. From top to bottom, the earth shook and the rocks were split. The tombs also were opened, and many of the bodies of saints who had fallen asleep were raised, coming out of the tombs in resurrection into the holy city, and were seen by many. And the centurion who was with him, who was watching over Jesus when the earthquake took place, looked up and said, truly, this was the Son of God. Ladies and gentlemen, power over death. Death, right? The final punishment that you can get on this earth. This earth, an earth that the scriptures say Satan prowls around like a roaring lion, looking to kill and destroy, right? Kill and destroy. He kill, death, right? That's the worst thing that can happen to you here. That you die. Okay? That's the worst thing. That's the worst punishment. Kill and destroy is what Satan does. And he prowls around the earth looking to do it. And Christ defeated the worst thing that Satan can do to us. The worst thing that can happen to us. And through Christ, you can have eternal life. And that is why Christ's sacrifice on this date is so important. And that is why it is Good Friday. Because today is good. Today is the day, even though it is sorrowful and dark and quite depressing at the moment of Christ's death, good is victorious in this story. We are a movement of victory. We are people who know that the victory is already ours, and therefore we are happy warriors, and we march onward. So march into your Easter weekend uplifted and thankful for Christ's salvation, for Christ's sacrifice for you. Christ is King, and set your eyes on that, and you'll be good. Have a wonderful weekend in this, the greatest country on earth. Happy Easter. A blessed Good Friday. It's your boy Benny. See ya.